Hello again, welcome to another edition of the BAMREF show. With me on the show this week, level 3 referee Nick Reece, who's part of the CORE X Programme for the next batch of rising stars, and as usual, the BAMREF chairman, Mannix. Now, on the show this week, handball on the way to Brighton scoring a match-defining goal. When does handling stand and when does it not stand? West Ham understandably fuming about that late strike, which earned the Seagulls a point. The bin for your sins. What are the pros and the cons of the sin? We'll discuss that here in the studio. Ronaldo, Portugal, and that red card. What does it mean for the other players potentially suspended for the first game of next year's World Cup? I can tell you our WhatsApp is popping up with that particular subject. And goalkeeping and time wasting. A move is understood to be underway to force teams to temporarily remove an outfield player if a keeper goes down injured in pursuit of a tactical timeout. I'll be telling you the guys' views on that. But let's start with Nick. He's one of our highly rated referees, one of our most highly rated referees outside of the professional game. He is well regarded by his colleagues, but we're really, really pleased to have Nick here with us. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Nick. How did you get started?
First of all, thank you for having me. Great to be here. So for myself, I started in 2019. I played a little bit semi-pro and I've coached for 2 academies, Arsenal and Tottenham. And I just felt like I still had something to give. And my mum was like, try referee. You'll be good at it. And I was like, I'm not sure. So I booked a course. Luckily, I did it with Phil Sharp. At the time, I had no idea who he was. Absolutely no idea until I found out he was a World Cup finalist, assistant and Champions League. Went on the course, really liked it, and just went from there really, joined the league. So yeah.
And in 6 years refereeing, your rise has been quite rapid. How have you done it?
Resilience, hard work, determination and just proving people wrong. I'm at my best when people doubt me. I go out there and I give 100%. And I'm just trying to open doors for the next generation. And I just feel like when I was refereeing, I used to always be on the line to higher up refs and think, I can do a better job than him, or I think I can do as well as him. And just sort of just wanting to get to that next level. And my passion for it and my determination is what's got me through it, and having a good family as well around me. I actually feel like an old referee. When I'm out, I'm always with younger referees, young enough to be my son or my daughter, whoever it could be. So I actually feel old.
How old are you now?
I'm 41.
Okay.
Yeah, so I actually feel much older than you say, but I appreciate that. But for me, I'm a dad of 2, been married, I've got a house, I live a normal life. I've experienced things out of referee, what I bring into referee. I feel like
what do you think you've experienced outside of referee that helps you do your job in referee?
So I lived in an area like this. I was brought up in Edmonton, a very rough area where you have to stand up for yourself and you have to, find out who you are, and you need to be assertive of what you're doing, and you have to work really hard to where you want to get to. For me, school, I fell out with school. I wasn't good at school, and going through a lot when I was younger, a lot of trauma, a lot of things what have made me the man I am today. And I take all of that into refereeing, and when I go onto the pitch, honestly, when I cross that white line, the players, just talking to players and being able to adapt to different types of people is a skill. And I feel like that is my strength as a referee. That's the best thing I'm at. I feel like that's what separates me from a lot of referees, just talking to people, knowing how to adapt. I go on the pitch down, they're like, I've never heard a ref talk like you, or ref, you can't say that, like you're really like street, or you're really like this and that. And I'm like, I'm just normal, like I'm one of you. And it's like, I think that's what separates me from a lot of other referees. I try to keep authentic.
Yes.
How I am with you now is how I am on the pitch. I talk to the players all the same, with respect, but if they cross that line, they see a different side to me. I don't have to bring it out too much because the players actually work with me. I just feel like if you just do the basics, talk to players and just go out there and try your best, that's all they want. You know, the referees what do kind of struggle in that. They go looking for trouble, or too many surprises will happen. And I just feel like be yourself, and that's what's worked for me.
Let's talk about your lows. What's been your low?
So
in the game.
So for me, there's been quite a few lows. So when I started refereeing in Hertfordshire, unfortunately, I won't say the person's name, but he just wanted me to do the Hart Senior County League. He was like, Nick, you're going to do the Hart County League, where with me, I knew there was no future for me there. So
was this a decision maker? Somebody who had the power?
Someone who had the power, yeah. So someone who had the power to assign me games. I was new to the game. I didn't know how it all worked. So I wanted to keep him happy. But at the same time, I knew there was no future for me to progress staying on the Hearts County. I'd already been sort of headhunted by other referees saying, you're good enough, go on the Spartan, go on the South Midlands, start doing lines to like level 5s, level 4s. So I've gone back to the guy and I've said, listen, I'm not going to give you all my Saturdays every month. I'll give you 2. He had a, honestly, blacklisted, no, you can't do that. No, I'm sorry, tried to get me in trouble, was sending me all over the place. The furthest place he could send me just to like break me.
There'll be lots of people who are not au fait with refereeing will look at this and say, why would he do that?
Because for me, it was all about control and for not undermining him. He was the boss, he was in charge. And if someone like Nick Reece would break the system and go against him, what does that look like for all the other referees? What are like his sheep following him to the direction he wanted to go? Where with me, I've always been a man where if it doesn't sit right for me, or there's no morals, or it's not going to benefit me or my family, I'll go left happily if everyone's going right. Not a problem. I'll be that guy what's unpopular and not liked. I've got no issue with that. And that's my strength. And from day one, where I was an older referee, I thought, hang on a minute, you just want me because you want to cover your game at Cuffley at the weekend, but you're not thinking about Nick Reece's moving up. That you don't care about my progression. You know, you're giving me games, but it's the same step, 9 games every week. I want to move up the pyramid, and you're just holding me back. And I find like in my career, there's been a lot of that where people have looked at me as a threat and tried to hold me back and thought, well, we don't want him near me. We don't want him. We don't want to be competing with Nick. We know that he's determined, and that was the start of it. So I learned it quite early in refereeing.
That's a big word, right? Talk about what you mean.
I just believe in myself. I'm one of them people. I walk on the pitch. You watch any of my videos, I'm happy. I'm smiling. I look like I'm going for a jog down, like a walk on the beach. I'm so cool. And people say to me, "Why are you like that?" I've got nothing to lose. I just go into every game, enjoying it. What is the point of me being away from my son, my daughter, my wife, going to a place for basically a whole day? Time I leave my house is probably about 11:30, get back at 7, not enjoy it. Yeah. So if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go out and enjoy it. I'm going to network. I'm going to get along with my sisters. We're all going to be friends for 4 or 5 hours. We're going to make a day of it. And I just can keep doing that motto and it works. I've had so many people try to bring me back or get me suspended or tarnish my name, or there's a witch hunt after me for some reason. And do you know what? It just fuels my fire. And I hope, they've given up, because the more they do it, the more I just keep going up. I've had dark days. I remember I was in my car and I had no one to turn to, and I thought, who can I ring? I said, I can't really ring Joe. I don't really speak to him. But my head was saying, just call him. So I've called him and said, Joe, I'm in a bit of trouble. I've got a situation where a case has been brought up against me for homophobic commenting and a disability comment. And I said, what shall I do? He said, Nick, did you do it? And I said, listen, allegedly I did. It was been taken out of context and it's been made a big thing. So he said, just go do the case and see what happens. Long story short, I did it. I got a 4-month suspension from refereeing.
Were the comments on social media?
It was on social media.
How long was it?
They were like when I first started.
Was it written or spoken?
It was not even that. It was just like when you do like emojis, like sort of like a picture thing.
And I'm presuming now you look back and think, I shouldn't have done it.
I shouldn't have done it. And I put my hand up. I did the time. Should have got promoted just before that to level 3. Came back, did 1 game and got promoted to level 3. Oh my, you would have thought they would let P. Diddy out of jail early or something like that. It was bad. Like the way it was, like FA phone calls, how can Nick Reece get promoted? He's been suspended. What is going on? What's the fairness of this? Their answer was, he's done the time. He's gone on a course. He's come back. We're happy. You know, punishment served.
They being the local county.
No, the whole FA. The whole FA. So this because as a level 4, you're an FA referee. Yes, you're part of a county, but your games and everything else you're allocated from the FA.
So the FA stood by you.
So the FA stood by me, but I did finish number 1 in my supply league. I really should have been automatically promoted. There was still a lot of question marks on me. So they invited me to an assessment day in Loughborough, which I passed. Went through the process, interviews, laws of the game, clip analysis, fitness tests, all done. Automatically, I'm now level 3. So to get into the Core X group, you had to be a level 3 at the time. So there was a big fuss about me. So what they done was, there was 3 of us, 3 BAMREF who got promoted. I won't say their names, but at the same time as me. And none of them were allowed in the Core X group, because if they let the other 2 in, I would have had to go in. So I was used as that person. Nick can't go in, so they can't go in. So I missed out on Core X for a whole season, and I think even half a season. And the excuses was, we're not sure about you. I think I spoke to you and Adji.
And I said.
And they fought, and these guys were fighting my name. Literally, I had to have risk assessments. They just didn't want to go near me. No, Nick, he's been done. Like, there's so much badness around his name.
I remember. Well, come and tell
Yeah,
me.
so I missed out on Core X. I thought, this is just driving me. I said, no, I'm just going to go away. Keep plugging away. I had no coach. So the whole time I've started refereeing, I've never been in core, never had a coach, never had a mentor. Just Nick Reece on my own, going to the games, getting to level 3 on my own. Had no support from any of my counties in anything. I thought, you know what? I'm going to be the first person to go and do it. I'm going to tell the next generation, no matter what you've gone through, no matter if you get in trouble, no matter if you get suspended, I'm going to be the blueprint. I'm going to be that guy. Yeah. So I went away, kept plugging away, working hard, moving up the table above all these national core referees and the golden boys and the poster boys, going past them, 40-year-old man, kept reminding them, saying I'm 40 years old, been only refereeing 4 years, just getting them that way, going up. And then it got to a stage where the numbers couldn't lie. I was just in the mix. So I'm getting the big games. I'm getting the semi-finals of the playoffs in front of 3,000 people. I'm getting the letters from the national core, Nick, you're in the top 5%, come. I'm getting the letters from Core X because Adji and Joel have fought my corner for the last 2 seasons, saying, we told you, he's kept his head down, he ain't been in trouble since, you have to give him a chance. Still had to go through all the process, interviews, laws of the game, fitness test, done. I think I did the level 2 fitness test twice in a week.
Wow.
Because I had to do it with the national core and then I had to do it with Core X. Passed them both, but I'm still thinking they're going to find a way to not get me in. They're going to find a way. I'm not going to get it. I just don't think it's going to go my way. I got the call from Darren. I got invited to St George's Park, and I got the call from my coach, Mick Russell, which we both know well. And this is the funny story. And the first phone call he rang me was, well done for getting in, Nick. And it was just loads of indirect. Stay out of trouble. I'm your coach. I'm watching you. And I think in the first month of the season, he came out and watched me 3 times. I'm keeping my eye on you, Nick. Keeping my eye. I just went into every game thinking, all right, cool. I know what you're doing. You're not sure about me. I'm known as the problem ref. Just went in there, smashed it. I haven't seen him since. He hasn't come out to watch me. I text him all the time. Voicemail, I don't need to see you, Nick. You're a safe pair of hands. Oh, Nick, come see me, please. And you're doing really well. So, do you know what? There's been that ups and lows.
How does it feel to be labelled the problem ref?
So,
and when did you first become aware that you were?
As soon as I come on the scene. I came on the scene and I literally was standing on people's toes. I wasn't coming to make up the numbers.
Did you find that in Hertfordshire, or did you find that when you moved into the national? The reason why I say that is obviously we're both Hearts referees.
Yeah.
So for my road,
yeah,
I found that Hearts. For me, I had great support because I had Phil Sharp behind me, and he was quite supportive. He'd come out with me running.
Yeah.
So I found that the support was there going through 7, 6, 5.
Yeah.
And then when I hit to 4, it was that was it for me.
So for me, it was completely opposite. So when Phil Sharp did the course, unfortunately, COVID come. Hertfordshire FA got rid of Phil Sharp, made him redundant. To this day, it was the biggest mistake, in my opinion. The experience and everything. So he lost his job. There was no RDO. I had no support from 6 to 7. Then I fell out with the secretary. I went over to London thinking, this is London. There's going to be more people like me. I'm going to be. It was worse.
When you say like me, what colour?
Colour, the way I talk, the way I look, the area I'm from. Maybe because I found like with Hertfordshire, it's more older referees, and we're talking like 45 plus. And I just didn't. I just couldn't relate. I couldn't relate, and I was always looked at as not part of their group. I wasn't accepted in that group away, and I'm not one of them people to ever beg it with anyone. I know my ability, and refereeing, this is why I like refereeing, because you're on your own most of the time. So all these referees what are against me or have an issue with me, I never get to see them. Probably once a year at St George's Park. This is why it works for me so well. But going over to London, it just didn't work. I'm a person where I feel like if you're an RDO or you're anything to do with where you can affect other referees, you shouldn't be the same level.
Yeah.
Because there's a conflict of interest. I find with RDOs, I don't know why it is, but there's a lot of referees who are active.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I'm competing basically with my referee secretary, my RDO, my competition secretary. I think that's not fair.
So you find they're not being fair or transparent?
I feel like I've experienced it. I'll tell it straight. I feel like with me, I've been held back. I've been sort of not given the credit I deserve. I've done all this with all the politics around me and all the being unpopular. But back to your question, like I think having a skill as accepting being unpopular. I think most people are doing well in life. You're always going to get a bit of hate, and I feel like it's a good thing. Talking about me in some way or another means that I must be doing something right. If I wasn't, why am I even in the conversation? It goes even deep where I got promoted to level 3, and there was a list of referees what rang up the FA and were told and influenced by other referees not to work with me and run the line. It's gone that deep.
How did you find out?
I got told because obviously I was getting my most appointments and randomly referees match appointments. So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, he's mates with the person I've had an issue with, all the cases around. All of a sudden he's come off. So I rang the FA, I said, what's going on? They said, listen, Nick, these people are not comfortable working with you. So I said, do you know what? I'm going to use this as a positive thing. I'd rather have Darren, you come work with me. You don't know me. You're going to give me a clean slate and work with me and give me your all. Than Joel, who's friends with someone that I've allegedly said something about. He's going to come. He could throw me under the bus. He could not turn up. He could be late. So it's actually helped me because now I know everybody what's coming on my line generally wants to work with me. So I've looked at it as a positive. But there's been so many hurdles for me in refereeing.
Go back slightly. How did it feel when you were told that there was this list of referees that didn't want to work with you?
Naturally, you are a bit upset, and you think to yourself, well, I haven't done nothing to them, and I know I'm not homophobic or, you know, any of the things they say I am.
So it was based on?
Yeah, it was based on the allegations made against me. It was made a big thing. You know, a lot of people thought I was done. A lot of people thought that was me, that Nick Reece was done. They literally thought he's never going to come back from that. And then one game in, I've been promoted. It caused so much hell. I'm telling you, it was a big talking point in the refereeing world.
Was there ever a point where you thought, I might as well give them what they want and quit?
Never. They never won. And actually, they helped me, because when I got suspended, my son was born. So I managed to spend 4 months with him without having to do Saturdays or Tuesdays. So everything what happened worked in my favour. And I took a negative. My whole life I've done this. I've taken a negative into a positive. And I always look at it, you knock me down 10 times, I'm getting up 11. So it's in the back of my mind now, because it's been a little while, Darren. But as you were asking about my past, this is what's made me the referee I am today.
Look, just to clarify, I mean, you've said before that you've accepted that the comments you've made on social media, you were wrong to make those comments. I think we should get that very clear. But we're also talking about, as Joel said, you paid your penalty. You did your time for that, and you accepted that was justified.
Accepted it. I went on the course, online course. I went away, I regrouped, thought about my behaviour. I realised, you know, I'm a professional referee at non-league. I realised there's younger referees looking up to me. I realised, you know, I am the face of level 4, level 3 FA referee. We have to conduct ourselves and carry ourselves in a certain way.
Just these comments, they weren't in the game, they were on your private.
It was on my private account, and unfortunately in life, sometimes you think certain people are your friends or you're part of the same industry, so you share things with them. Unfortunately, I shared it with the wrong person. At the time, I didn't realise, but the person had screenshotted it, and then the person who screenshotted it, I sort of fell out with, and he used it against me. And the person that it's all about, I've got no issue with. It was taken out of context. I've got no issue. I'm not like that. Like I said, I never would be. And
the FA accepted.
The FA accepted it. I went through the whole process. It's still on my record. It stays on my record for 5 years, so I've probably got 3 years left on it. It's affected me with getting games. When I came back, I wouldn't get any FA Cup games or FA Varsity Elite games at the level that I'm at. I got promoted, but they've now changed it now. Because of me, I've been told that you cannot get promoted in the same year if you get suspended. So I think that was because of my case, right or wrong. That's
so they created a wider
because it made a lot of waves. There was a lot of headlines about it, and a lot of pressure was put on the FA, and I think that was the reason why I was told that I couldn't go into Core X, because in their eyes, I've done something bad, which I've accepted. I've done my time. I've then got promoted, which is really amazing. Most referees won't even get to level 3. I'm then getting rewarded again to be put into a PGMOL group, which I'm then having a coach and getting all the free gear and getting spoiled and doing all these development games. I think it didn't sit right with, I don't know if it was a decision with everyone. I don't know how it was made. But,
I mean, I can tell we fought. And I fought for all the referees in BAMREF, and I've said, listen, he's done his crime, he served his time, what we're going to do, keep on continually punishing him. Now there comes a point when he becomes the victim. Nick comes as victim, and I was like, this can't happen. So let's draw a line. He's done what he's done, clean slate, because I can bring another 10 other referees that have done, let's say, worse sins or worse crimes, which are still going on. And then it was a case of, okay, but you've elevated, you're now in Core X, you've got your coach, Mick Russell, great coach. He's a great coach, he was my coach as well, he understands football. What's your highs?
So there's been a lot of highs as well. So for me, I always go back to my roots, and just finishing number 1 on the South Midlands Spartan Supply League. So for me, being a South referee, that was the best supply league compared to all the other supply leagues. The best teams, the best observers, the best stadiums.
I've been there as well, so I
Joel
understand that.
Joel
So I
been there.
understand.
So for me, just finishing #1 and getting promoted off that is seen as an honour at non-league alone. Everyone was saying to me, Nick, go to an easier supply league. Go the easy route. No, I want to go the right route. I want to prove people wrong. Got promoted off that. I was over the moon. Bouncing back from my suspension and getting to level 3 was just another W for me. A massive achievement. Getting into Core X, another achievement. But there's been so many highs. I mean, at the weekend, I did a top of the table clash on the Southern Prem South. I've got the top of the table clash this weekend on the Isthmian Prem. Just getting the fixtures, getting the FA Cup games. It's just non-stop. It's every day. I mean, I really enjoy it. So,
where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
5 years, if I stay injury free and keep myself out of trouble and just keep going the way I'm going, I've got no doubt I could easily get to step 1 as a referee. That's National League, the highest level at non-league. But now I'm not sure if they're merging it into Football League.
That's quite because as you're talking and you're talking about that rise, I'm seeing you being higher than that. You don't see it being any higher than that?
I just feel like there's a lot of hurdles. 1 being my age. 2, there's a lot of good referees coming up. I have to. There's some really good referees coming up.
Well, BAMREF referees.
But there's some good BAM referees.
Okay.
There's some BAM referees. There's some great non-BAM referees. I have to admit that as well. And there's the same side. There's a bit of mix of everyone. So for me, I'm quite hard on referees. So someone Joel might think is a good ref, but I might not think they're a good ref. So, you know, I look for different things. I don't just look at the referee. How do you carry yourself off the pitch? How do you get your team to work for you? There's so much more to refereeing that people look at. So for me, if I look at a human being first.
Yes.
So we're all a team. You're leading the team now and we turn up. I'm just watching you, like how are you treating me and Joel and how are you getting us up for the game and what's your knowledge on the teams and stuff. I'm going to go off your energy. Because you're the man in charge, and some people haven't got that.
Yes.
They haven't got the authority. They haven't got that presence where they're not comfortable leading other people. I'm a leader. As soon as I cross that line, then 2 ARs are like my sons. Or if I got a 4th, then I'm lucky. That's part of my team. You are part of my family. And I think that's another thing referees struggle in, is getting the best out of other people. They're great on their own in the middle, but it's bringing the best out. You're not just there to hold a flag or, you know, and coming up the ranks. There's been days where I've been in change room and I'm looking at my watch, it's getting me out. I don't want to, I'm not enjoying it. And there's days where I'm really enjoying it. And
so what's the difference between an experience you're enjoying and an experience that you're not?
Yeah, I would say that. I think an age has got something to do with it. I know, and I found for me, it was my age, because even though there was youngsters coming up, they could beat my life skill.
Yeah.
And my life skill at that time being early 40s, you know, I've kind of lived my life. I've seen the bad boys as such, the street boys. I'm still young enough, to learn the street slang and to understand. So there's things not flying over my head. And I was real with players. I would just tell them as it is. If you're atting at me, I'm atting at you. Yeah. And I always used to say this, the conversation we're having here, we can have here. But if it starts to go 30 feet, you're going to see a different person. Yeah. So if you're atting at me, I'm going to be atting at you. But I said, one thing I can guarantee, I'm finishing the game.
We could be all in the change room. You could be a 17-year-old boy. You could be a 25-year-old woman. For me, it's hard because what I want to talk about, I've been driven mad by my 2 kids on the way here, and I could be having an argument with my wife. Sometimes you can't relate to other referees. So what I'm finding is I always try to make them feel comfortable. So I'll maybe talk to you, what team do you support, or what school, what are you studying at school? So I'll go down to their level to make them feel comfortable. And that's part of adapting. So me, I'm an adapter. I'll adapt to anyone.
Great leadership.
Yeah, any person you can put me in, I'll adapt to them. Muslim, black, white, whatever it is, I'll adapt to. I'll always find something to talk about where I can relate to in my life. Luckily, growing up in London, you see it all. You've been there, done it. So that's what helps for me.
He says he sees himself at level 1 in 5 years' time. Where do you see him?
I'd see him higher than that. But if that's where he said he's stalled, then I would always say where he's stalled. I think he could be going up there. I mean, I had a conversation a couple of days ago about the next up and coming referees. His name was in the mix. So I'm
let's talk about him as if he's not here.
Okay, yeah.
What were they saying?
No, I'm just saying they were saying that they couldn't find some referees as such for the next gym to come on. So
Who said this?
Can't disclose that, but I'm just saying, yeah.
We'll go back to that.
Yeah. So I then said, okay, and I went back, spoke to the coaches, spoke to the Core X coaches, spoke to other people, came back with a list of about 20. So I'm like, right. Now, this was what the whole of Core X was about.
What did they say about me?
They said about Nick was that he's good. I believe he's in the top 100 in level 3s. Has the ability to go further.
Forgive me, what's the context of the top 100? Is that 100 out of 1,000?
I think it's about 300. Is it about 300, 350 referees?
So I'll state the facts.
You're about 55 or 56.
So I'm 20th in the country.
Okay.
So just
trying to
you
be
know,
cool here.
So out of 313 refs, I'm 20. But
Promotion ready.
I'm promotion ready. Laws of game I'm 1. Modules I'm 1. Clubs I'm at the moment 50th, and observers.
That's nice.
So it's all different modules. Observers is 60%. Club marks is 10. Modules of 15. Laws of the game of 15.
So
adds up for 100%.
Right.
So there's also a new group they've just brought out,
Yeah.
National Core, where I'm competing with referees what are not on the merit table. So they're not part of it. So I'm only, on paper, I'm only competing with 313, but there is more referees I am competing with, which is nationally all over the UK. I'm on to my 24th middle of the season. I'm not one to shy away. I don't close dates. I'm actively out Tuesday and Saturday every week. I'm keeping up with all my training, with all the PGMOL stuff. I have to follow a fitness program, so it's a lot behind the scenes going on.
Let me ask about Nick, the fan, Matt, because
Yeah.
you've mentioned quite a congested work life.
Yeah.
How do you balance that with family life?
It's so hard. I mean, my wife's been brilliant, really supportive straight away, especially my 16-year-old daughter. She understands. My son's only young, so he's like, daddy football. As soon as I put my coat on, it's hard walking out the door. Honestly, it's emotional. Some days I look at my wife and think, oh God, she's got my son for the next 6 hours and he's running her ragged.
How old is he?
He's 2.5. It's hard. My daughter's been great supporting. At first, my wife didn't understand, why do I need to get to a ground an hour and a half before? Why am I staying behind after? Why is my observer ringing me the next day? Why am I have to go to fitness tests? Why am I doing so much online training and not getting paid for it? Just usual stuff from partners. Bills need to be paid. You need to, play your dad's role. You need to take me out. You need to go do shopping. It's hard. I managed to do it. I just find a way. If I have to get up at 4 in the morning and go to the gym, or I have to do it when the kids are in bed. But it's a very hard balance, and I give credit to anyone who is a parent and is a referee, especially from sort of level 4 up with. I give you all credit and keep going, because it's a very hard thing.
Your parent.
Yeah.
Tough for you as well?
Very, extremely. It was tough for me, going out and refereeing, and the further you go, the higher you go. You start staying overnights, and so it's not just 7 hours. Just a heads up here. You stay the night before, and you stay, and depending on where you are travelling to, it's one of those. So it could be that whole weekend, and it is hard. But we're now thank God for technology, where we've got FaceTime and you can WhatsApp and you can still talk to the family members. You've got your family groups and you can talk to them, so you're not missing too much. And it's quite nice, because sometimes for me, travelling to different countries and different time zones, I can still press the family group and still speak to the girls and say, brilliant, and still I'm still there, so I understand.
I'll ask you this in a second, but what's the heartwarming, or the funny, whatever, the dinner table story about refereeing that you tell your friends? The funny, because there's so much so many obstacles, and we've talked about the challenging things about refereeing.
There's so many.
What is the funny thing, the funny story you tell about your career refereeing, the matches you've been at, the people you've refereed? What comes to mind?
I used to have a procedure. So I'd get both teams out in the tunnel first, and I'd wait. I'd be the last person to come out. And as I'd come in through, I'd, excuse me, please. And you'd see the guys just look up and it's like, all right.
Got him today.
Got him today, it's the ref. And then you're then looking at the centre half who's 6'4" as well. And you're like, you right, fella? And he's like, oh. And then you walk all the way through them, and he's like, right lads, let's go. And you go out, and you can hear them murmuring, oh, we've got him today. You know what I mean? Because they know what it was, no nonsense. And that was my, you know.
Love that. What about you?
So for me is when I turn up to grounds and they're not sure if I'm a player, and they look at me and way I talk to the players, they're stunned. Just the way I talk and carry myself. I call myself a street referee. I do use a lot of slang, and it's still professional, but certain people wouldn't understand it. But the younger generation absolutely love it.
Industry.
And they're like, you're different, ref. You know, you're different to the ref we had last week. You know, I like the way you talk. You know, I'm just from the ends. I'm just from the manor. Like, I'm one of you lot. And they're like, wow, like, we normally get like robotic refs saying this and that, and they don't talk to us. And I'm like, I won't stop talking. You would be sick of me by the end of the
Do you know what I
game.
love about this story? I remember when I first interviewed you in 2019, and you told me a story about they thought you were the coach driver.
Yeah, they thought I was the coach driver or the bus driver.
Yeah.
And sometimes a player, not as, you know, because they come in tracksuits now.
Yeah.
So players come in tracksuits to the games where we used to wear suit and tie. So when you've turned up, they are coach driver.
Coach driver.
Yeah, so off you go around there, get $2 grand back.
Exactly. It's funny how times change, because now the story is much more humorous.
Because they've got tracksuits, they've got free tracksuits, free trainers, free watches.
We're so spoiled, honestly. We are spoiled. We're in the bubble,
by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But yeah, during the game, I classify myself as quite a fit referee. Yes. So round about 70, 80 minutes, you get all the how long ref, and I'm saying to them, listen, I'm 40 years old or 41 at the time. They're like, what? You're not 40? I'm like, yeah, I'm 41. I'm keep going, I'm all right. Like, I'm not going to get substituted. And they're like giggling with you and like, oh, thanks, ref, and go back and tell my wife, I've been called 25 today or 30. And she's just like, whatever, you're 40 on your passport. So, you know, me and my wife, we have a bit of banter because I feel much younger than I am.
Yeah.
When I'm on the pitch, I feel good. You know, we've got this new training. You know, Will Davis has looked after us part and has really put me in a much better shape than I was last year. Yeah. Eating the right things, preparing, reflecting.
How were you eating before?
So, you know, we've got all the routine.
McDonald's.
You know, do you want to know exactly what I'm eating? Okay, so a normal day I'd wake up.
What were you eating before?
Oh, before, I was eating well, but I wasn't doing it in the right method. So I was eating too close to the game. I weren't getting enough fluids on board. I weren't getting enough protein. I weren't doing the right recovery after the game. So it's just, I had everything right. And like I said, when I came up, I was on my own. So for me, I had to coach myself. So I'd go on videos, I would watch other good referees I liked. What's he doing? What's he bringing to the game?
So just like on YouTube?
YouTube, or, you know, I'd go to games and watch, you know, warm-ups, how they do the warm-ups, or, you know, you get clips on Twitter from the PGMOL, little clips on referees in the change room. What's he brought to game? He's got a massage gun, or he's got the band, or he's got banana. So most referees bring sweets for their assistants. I thought, I'm going to change it. I'm going to bring bananas or protein bars. So little things like that, just adapting, you know, bringing waters or Lucozades for your thing, and just the sports science side of things is massive now. And that's why I think it might give me a little bit longer on my journey than if I'd carried on it before. Because them little tweaks, that little nugget, that golden nugget has changed my percentage. 1%. If I can do that all the time, you know, I'm 10 times better than the referee I was this time last year. I feel fitter, stronger, more confident, better skill mind, football insight, reflecting better, analysing, just the way I see it. And Mick Russell has drilled this into me. It is, you have to do your homework on the teams. Be prepared, Nick. If you go out in a week, You train your ass off. You do your homework on the games. All you have to do, Nick, is turn up and be you. You've done the hard bit. And that's what I do. I turn up. I don't change anything. I'm not one of them referees. Darren's observing me today. I'm going to change. I'm going to start giving out my cards. Or Joel's observing me and I know he likes advantages. I just be Nick Reece. I keep it authentic. You either love me or you don't. But it works. I found a method what works for me. And it works. And it's ticking boxes, and that's what you have to do.
I asked you where I see you in 5 years' time, but how excited are you by Nick?
I'm not surprised. Do you know what I mean? I haven't spoken to Nick. He's called sometimes, as he said, when he was low, and I'm sure I've given him some good advice to see him, and it's great now to see him prosper and doing other things. But one thing, what would you give and what would you say to other Black Asian listeners that are refereeing? What would be your one
piece of advice
to them?
Be the change. Be that person. Be the one what knocks doors down. Be the one what leaves a legacy that people talk about, not today, tomorrow, in 10 years' time. Be that person where, you know, people want to be like you. You know, like I've got 3 mentees, you know, I can name James, Prince, Paul. You know, they're constantly ringing me, texting me, give back. Don't forget where you come from, you know, remember your roots. I was a level 7 once. I was that referee. Still am a little bit. Nobody wanted to work with. No one wanted to give them a chance. Make your own opportunity. Be the change. And, you know, nobody wanted to give me pre-season games. What did I do? I went out, started talking to clubs. Now all the clubs come to me and they're asking me for pre-season games. Nobody wanted to give me a coach. Now I've got a coach, you know. You have to sometimes knock the door down, and that's what I'm doing for the next generation. People like me, people that look like me, people who have come from the same background. They might not be the most squeakiest clean. They might come from an area what's deprived. They might be, you know, had a bad upbringing. I am the proof. You know, you don't have to be what everyone else says you have to be. Be yourself. I'm making a change. I'm a brand. I am a FA referee, but when I go on the pitch, I am Nick Reece, the referee. This is what people don't understand. I'm a dad first. I'm someone's dad. I'm someone's husband. Then I'm a referee. That all comes together. I don't want to, you know, I try my best. Of course I make mistakes all the time. Of course I go off the pitch and I'm not happy and I'm not happy with this, but you know what? I go home and I'm on the way home. I've got my 2 beautiful kids, my wife. I think going home to that, I haven't lost. You know, I haven't lost. Whatever happens in my refereeing, I've opened doors already. I'm going to continue as much as I can, as much as these legs can go. I will carry on going.
And after as well.
And after, because
you touched on the point that you're amazing.
Joel deserves his flowers. You know, we're here today because of Joel. And Joel was he was the lamb who got sacrificed to the wolves, I call it. This is the story. He sold his career for likes of me. He went up against the big boys, the people at the top that nobody would even think of doing. And he knew it was do that, my career's done. Say nothing, be just a nodding dog, carry on doing it, and nothing will come after me. And he sacrificed his career. He could easily have carried on. He could easily be refereeing to this day at a certain level. He chose not to because he's putting it into us. I understand I've got that responsibility. I'm now coming through. I'm carrying the flag. But being a role model, I feel like I haven't achieved anything for people to look at me. Yes, I've got to the next level, but I still feel like there's so much higher up referees, like the Sonny Gills and the Sams. They're the role models because they're broken so many more doors than me. And rightly so, Joel's got it, you know, because, you know, I remember watching your interview together. Yeah. And I was like, sorry. I said, he's done. I said, he's done. What's he done? Like, I was like, sorry, I beat myself there. I was like, what's he done? He's never going to ref again. He's done. He's blacklisted. He's gone against the FA. He's gone against... What's he done? That's what I thought. My automatic, I was like, oh no. And then to see what's come from it, I rate you so highly. And I say it to everyone, I'm just like, this guy has done something like that. That was ballsy. And I putting myself in your shoes, would I have done it? No. And this is what I'm trying to say. That, in my eyes, is, do you see what I mean? The difference.
Yes.
It's the... you know, the hard work 6 years ago that happened. How much work you put in to get there. I've only been refereeing 6 years. So that's what I'm trying to say. Let me build up my profile a little bit. Let me start knocking some doors down before I start saying this and that. The younger generation, call me a role model, I'll take it. If they want to text me or ring me, I'll answer. If they want me to give them advice, I'll give it. But I'm not going to go around saying, this is the Nick Reece way, you do it this way, that way, look at me, I've done it, I'm not that sort of person.
Did you know him when you saw that interview he did with CNN in 2019?
Personally, no. I'd heard about him because we've got a neutral referee friend called Sherez. And Sherez was, when I was going through all this trouble when I first started with the secretary, because he's gone through it as well, he was like, there's this black referee called Joel Mannix. You have to see him. He's like level 2. He'll look after you. And I was like, okay, all right, cool. And I don't know did I reach out?
No, he did.
Yeah,
and then I said, yeah, tell him to shout at me.
I'm one of them people. You see me, because I'm an older guy, I'm like, he's got his life. I don't want to be one of them naggy refs. Help me. Like I've always been taught, stand on your own too, go fight your own battles, go do it yourself, stop relying on other people, don't look for handouts. That's the generation I'm from. So I knew Joel was there, probably too scared to get in contact with him, if I'm honest, because at that time I probably thought, level 2, what's he going to do with a level 6? We're different, way apart. So then when I saw that interview, I was like, Joel is the man, but he's finished. I thought he was done. And then ever since it going to Liverpool for the conference, speaking to Aji, just showing other people, it's made me come in here today and speak freely without worrying about, I'm going to get a call from the FA, or someone's going to say this or that, or I've got to be careful what I say, because he's given us sort of like freedom of speech where we can, what we maybe couldn't have said 5 or 6 years ago, we now can say. We can say, we can speak. So I will speak. You can tell. I'll happily speak. You put me in front of a stage, I'll tell you what I want. I might say things which will get me suspended in the future, but now I have to do it in a professional way, in a way what's going to motivate people, and a way what's going to show people you can't do this.
Yes.
So somebody now watching this will think, I've got to be careful what I say on social media. I don't want to be like Nick getting suspended. I've had a positive effect.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm trying to do. And I'm very open. I tell everyone my story. If people want to ask me, I'm very open with it. Everybody knows it's well documented. But going back to it, the role model thing, on paper, yes, I am a role model. But myself, I still feel like I need to achieve much more in the game, if that makes sense.
It does indeed. Last word on that.
He said it all. You know what I mean? Let's go ref watch, eh?
Now, the first incident we're going to talk about is in the Brighton-West Ham game on Sunday afternoon. A goal was scored. The player who scored it handled, got his shot away. The shot was saved, and then from the follow-up, a goal was scored. Should the goal stand? I don't think it should. The fans of West Ham, who conceded late in their game that goal to deny them all 3 points, they don't feel it should have stood. Where do you guys stand?
So I haven't seen the clip, but going on what you said, in law, it's correct. You know, we have to go back to the law says, you know, it's a different phase of play. Mm-hmm. So it isn't a league, it's a goal. But if that happened in one of my games, you know, it's one of them ones, you probably, most referees at my level wouldn't give it, would see the handball and would give an indirect free kick, safe refereeing, because we haven't got that option of going back to VAR. So, like I said, there's different types of refereeing. Non-league refereeing is completely different to Football League and above. I say this to everyone, what they do in the Premier League, we can't get away with certain things at non-league and vice versa.
Right, now I do want to talk about one other thing, the sin bins, the concept of the sin bin. We've seen in a couple of occasions, players who are confined to sin bins, they come out and they re-offend, which has brought into question the effectiveness of a sin bin. Where do you both stand on it?
So for me, I was only level 4 for about 11 games. That was when it was brought in, the new singling rule. I used it a couple of times. Was I a fan of it? I can see why it's being used. Did it work for me? Yes, it was effective for me. The player, rightly so, gave me or one of my other officials dissent, and they came back and they were much better. But am I glad that I don't have to use it now? Yes. And that's probably one of the highlights of being level 3. If someone gives you dissent, it's a straight card because it's easier. Because
do you prefer that?
100%, because as soon as that team goes down to 10 men, you've got the other team on you, and if they score or they lose when that player is off the field of play, you will get blamed. So it's so much more easier just to give a caution for dissent.
Yeah. Let me ask you, you will get blamed. How can they blame you if their players put themselves in the sin bin? I know how where you stand on zero tolerance. You're pretty much on the same
100%, but I just feel like where a lot of referees go wrong, they get frustration confused with dissent, and they take their emotions into it too much. Being an ex-player and a coach, the football pitch, a lot is said. You know, right or wrong, but off the pitch that player can be completely different. There's a lot of emotions, there's a lot on the game, passion. I just feel like as a referee you have to sum it up. I always have this is my motto. As long as it's not public and no one and everyone can hear it, you can call me. To a certain extent, you could say whatever you want, that was a crap decision, therefore, whatever you want, as long as it's a certain, I can live with that. If it's just me and you up close, I can live with that. But as soon as you go public and make an example out of me and try to belittle me and show people, that is when I will step up. The player said to me, he said, you know all of their names. I said, oh, where are you going with this? He goes, I'm joking, ref. And it was just me and him. I said, don't you try say that. And it's like, it's just, there's ways of doing things, you know, because otherwise I would be giving out dissent cards so much in football if it's just about work. Like, honestly, I'm telling you.
Well, it's a really good segue into our next talking point, because Alejandro Quintero is the referee who sent off 3 Real Madrid players at the weekend in their defeat to Celta Vigo. Now, after the match, the Real Madrid head coach Xabi Alonso described Quintero as unhinged in talking about his performance. But listening to you speak just there, it sounds as though he is a referee who's prepared not to be cowed by the profile of the clubs or the players that he was refereeing. And it must, I would imagine, and this is one for both of you, take a lot to send off not just one of the highest profile players in the country, but 3 of them as well.
Listen, he's just looked at that, and I believe the referee has just looked at this, that he's gone into any other game, okay? Now, if it wasn't Real Madrid and he'd done it, would there still be this stigma? But because it's Real Madrid, it's like they're untouchables, the Glacios, you know what I mean? That you can't send off any of our refereeing lower levels. Some of the top clubs that were, you know, you'd go there as a status and they could say, do, act as what you like, as what they liked and how they liked, and their behaviour at times was disgusting. And sometimes I sent off, you know, I caution 8, 9, sent off 2, 3, ref, you were poor. Hold on a minute. Let's talk about your team, your conduct, because I approach this game professionally and I've approached everybody. So we can talk about from the first minute to the 90th minute of your team's conduct, okay?
Like I said, I'll happily step up if a player crosses the line, but I always look for, you know, what's the game expect, the perception on everything. Has everyone heard it? Is it just me and him? Can I manage it? You know, is it frustration? Just look at all these
referees have that emotional intelligence.
It's a skill, you know, it's a life skill, you know. I say to the players, I'm more scared of my wife. I honestly, that's one of my biggest sayings I say to them. I say, listen, you can shout at me, you can dislike me, you cannot shake my hand at the end of the game. I love refereeing, I'm here for a reason. We're both on the same pitch, like it or not. I'm here to do a job, you're here to do a job. I'm not going to tell you how to take a shot. Please try not to tell me how to referee. I'll make mistakes today. I'll try my best. let's just get along. And do you know what? I'm not just saying this, and I don't know if it's just me, but I don't get a lot of dissent.
With that in mind, let's discuss our final talking point. Ronaldo, the superstar that is, sent off in his last game for Portugal, which means he should have missed the opening game of Portugal's World Cup final. But he has been to the White House. He has had some
What are you implying, Darren?
Just saying what his movements have been since then. Because it would appear now that he is available to play in the opening game. Now, we debated this, Nick, on WhatsApp, Joel and I, and one other person, and there was a difference of opinion, shall we say. But because the law does state that he should be allowed to play, is that correct?
No, changed, remember.
It should be changed.
They changed. It's the powers that be. So the powers are left with FIFA. So if FIFA see it that you can, then if they wish to impose the ban onto the competition, depending on the severity of the attack, let's just say, then they can, or they can choose to suspend or caution, which I believe they've taken that better option and said, well, listen, you can play, however, there are some few.
Does it set a dangerous precedent for the authority of referees and for the potential? What if, and this is me as a layman, what if other players say, all right, I want my red card stayed for the first game?
Well, this is what we've got to be careful what we ask for. Now, Ronaldo he's a big figure in the game. Okay, he's a money spinner.
Hang on a minute, you guys have just been spending the last 5 minutes telling me
I'm just telling you
the same if it's Real Madrid or
Rovers.
Rovers.
No, I'm saying that I'm refereeing the game. So if the referee then comes on, if Ronaldo's on the pitch, he's then going to adhere to the laws of the game. I'm going to referee those. The other sanctions which outside of the game, which puts him on the pitch before those 90 minutes, I can't be held accountable for. They're way without my control. So
I'm the same. I don't get involved in the politics. If I was refereeing a game and the away team said that number 9 should be suspended, he shouldn't be on the pitch. It's not my, I'll write in my report after, but it's not that's beyond. We're there to referee a game of football. Like I said, my level is completely different to the level we're talking about. I can't even relate to the referees, what they're doing in the World Cup. They referee different to me. Honestly, it's completely different. I'm nowhere on their level and I can't relate to them in any way. All we can say is we're referees. That is it, because the way they referee is completely different to us. We haven't got all the comms, we haven't got the fourth official, we ain't got the VARs. We've got a man in the dog watching sometimes. Everyone goes to work, we're all part-timers, so it's completely different. But looking at it from the outside, I'm happy Ronaldo's in the World Cup playing because he's going to make a bigger thing of it. Is it right? If there's a loophole and he's doing nothing wrong, why not? He's done nothing wrong. If he's allowed to play, he's allowed to play.
Right now, just to round us off, I want to ask you 2 questions.
Yeah.
The first is, I want you to tell me who your refereeing inspiration was.
So, active or non-active?
You choose.
So for me, starting my refereeing, I didn't really look at refs as like role models. Like I didn't have anyone like I started refereeing because of Joel or Sonny Gill. It wasn't that. I just refereed to give back to the game and to keep active. And I watched a lot of refereeing and I thought I can do a better job. If I'm honest with you, that's the honest truth. I used to go to my local club, Chesham Football Club, and to sit there, I'd be like, this ref isn't running, he's not doing this, he's not doing that, or she's not doing that. Looking from the outside, people just think you turn up, blow the whistle for 90 minutes and go on. They don't see all the preparation and that. Referees are like players now. The recovery, the nutrition, especially level 3 upwards, it's elite. I mean, the boys in the Football League, I got told you've got to put all the players and the referees together and you shouldn't be able to point out which ones are the players and the referees. The image is massive now. They do body fat tests. You've got to look the part. You've got to say the right thing. It's a lot. You're under the spotlight. I mean, I saw a TikTok video coming in here, and it was Ruben Ricardo, and he called a game off at the weekend at Blackburn.
One of the referees in football.
Yeah, rightly so, because the pitch was waterlogged, but the fuss made about it, oh my, you would have thought, you know, there was no water on the pitch. They were blaming him, and it was just like, they are in the spotlight, you know, their pressure is different to us at the moment, you know. Yeah.
I want you to now pass the baton. Tell us of one up and coming young referee that you think is one for the future.
There's a referee called Taz Ali.
Okay, good.
Level 4.
Yeah.
Should have got his level 3 by now. Keep telling him. Should be up there. I think he's moved. He used to be in Suffolk. I think he's moved up to Birmingham. Lovely boy. Got his head screwed on. You know, the future's really bright. The programme that you guys have all put together, you know, we are spoiled. You know, all the kit and the training and going to Loughborough. We've got no excuse now. You know, there is no excuse. You know, you've got the coaches like Mike Riley, Mick Russell, Mark coming out to watch us. You know, this wasn't there before. You know, you can only become a better referee. But for me, up and coming referees, you have to work hard as well. You can't just expect, just because you've got all this, it's all going to be given to you. You still have to go out and work. You still have to have all the setbacks, the mistakes, learn from them, learn and grow. And, you know, the best referees are the ones who have had them bad games. You drive home from work, oh, I made a howler, or I've got this wrong. And you learn from it. You learn. The ones who go to games like, I didn't get nothing wrong. I was great today. They don't go anywhere. Because it's not realistic, you know. No referee goes into a game and can get everything perfect.
I've got one last question.
Go on.
If you do get to level 1, will you come back on the show?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I will come back on the show. And,
when he gets to level 1.
And listen, I'll do everything I can to do what I've got to do, you know, and I've got great support. You know, thank you for having me. I appreciate, you know, letting me voice my opinion.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'll try my best. That's all I can do.
Yeah, very well indeed. If you've enjoyed watching and listening to Nick, and you have your own footage from your games in the non-league, or if you're a referee, you want to be in the chair with us here on BAMREF, get in touch with us, BAMREF.com. Joel.Mannix at BAMREF.com, Darren.Lewis at BAMREF.com. Chair at BAMREF.com. There you go. Chair at BAMREF.com. We are here on the show every week, and we want you to join us. We also want your footage from your games, as I said before. Yes, we deal with the Premier League and the big leagues, but we also deal in particular with the non-leagues as well. So if you're a referee, a fan, you've got footage, you've got details, you've got questions you want to ask us, get in touch. BAMREF.com. The BAMREF show is back next week. We'll see you then.